Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the WPS podcast. That is Why People Suck. I'm Celia, and I'm joined by my co host, best friend, and sister, Alejandra.
In today's episode, we are going to be talking about why looking for jobs right now really sucks. In today's episode, we're kind of stepping back from why people suck directly and focusing more on why the system, which is run by people, suck. So, Celia, I think that you have a lot of experience in this area at the moment. So, you can probably jump off with some pretty good examples as to why this current system that we're in is really frustrating for people that are trying to look for a job.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been trying to look for a new job for a while, and I have lots of friends who are in the same position. I just want to step back for a second and just talk about the fact that it seems like we're all very unhappy in the jobs that we have. What is going on with that? That is also another thing to discuss because it just seems like the work environment has gotten worse over the years. Or are we just as a generation, the younger generations just wanting more from our jobs? I don't think that's really it, to be fair, because I do think conditions have gotten worse. But, anyways, that is just leading up to how many people are really searching for a job at the moment and just how bad the job hunt is and the marketplace. And so let's just, yeah, jump right into it and discuss why it's so terrible to find a job these days. I think definitely in the last few years with the rise of AI, there has been lots of issues that have been coming up with the hiring process. For example, every time you submit a CV, it's highly unlikely that someone's going to read it, that an actual person is going to have a look at your CV. I mean, there's a stat that says that 80% of employers are using AI to screen CVs, and they use the ATS or applicant tracking systems. That's all done by AI. So it just rejects people based on keywords or whatever it is that they're searching for. So it's not really giving people the chance to show how their experience could fit a new role or why they're, the right fit. It's just all about a precise match. And I guess it's just not working out, is it? It's just ridiculous. Oftentimes, you don't even get a response, or you do get these automatic rejections from the AI tool that they're using. Someone's not even looking at your CV or considering all the aspects that make you a good fit as an overall person.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest complaints I hear from people that are trying to find a job right now is that most of the time their resume doesn't even get looked at because it's a computer that is weeding them out. And just because, like you said, they don't use the correct keywords, they don't even get passed. And I feel like that's such a disadvantage for jobs, though, because I am a hiring manager, I hire for our agency or company. And hearing that makes me really it makes me really uncomfortable because you're rejecting people based on a computer that thinks it knows but it doesn't really know. And like, I don't know, doesn't that open you up for like wrongful, like, I don't know if this is probably not a thing, but just people be like blacklisting your company or whatever just because they're like, well, there's no opportunities there. So then you're going to end up with like not the best resumes and you're not going to end up with a great pool of applicants. And I just feel like the trickle down effect could be really negative for companies. So I am very wary of using AI for like to screen applications. I don't think that the technology is there. And I really just don't feel like it's fair for people that are applying to just be rejected because they didn't use the right keywords. That doesn't mean that they don't have the right experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more than just what's on a piece of paper. And it's just such an impersonal process these days. And exactly like you said, when you start getting all these rejections and you see certain companies doing that, you're like, well, why am I even going to bother applying, even though you might be the perfect fit for the job? Because you don't think that someone's actually going to consider you. Yeah, like why waste your time? It's so exhausting nowadays having to tailor each CV, every cover letter, and people don't even read the cover letters too.
Yeah.
And another thing that's so annoying with that is that with AI, all the companies are like, "Oh, we want people who use AI. People need to use AI. It's amazing. It's this incredible technology," and they want everyone using AI, right? But then if you do use AI with your CV or your cover letter and they can see that you have, they're like, "Oh, no, no, no. We're not going to hire this person," even though they're showing you the skill that you say you want.
That's
I don't understand.
That's so true. That's such a, catch-22 because it's yeah, if you're using AI to try to tailor your cover letter or your resume to their job, then they flag you. They have a system like, do they use what is it that they use to catch it? I actually don't know. I know that they have something that helps them catch it, but I don't know what it is. Do you know?
I'm not sure what the exact tool
Mhm.
is, but I imagine that there are tools out there that can tell what is AI and what is not, but there's also certain patterns that
Mhm.
you recognize how the AI writes.
Mm,
That's another
yeah.
thing that I've been told. I don't know, for example, like the dashes. It loves to use dashes. Like it'll be like, I've been working in this industry for 10 years, dash, with 5 years specifically in blah, 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 dash. And then it continues. Like that's one thing that I've
Uh, I
seen.
always
But there's other little patterns like that too.
Yeah, I always remove stuff like that because obviously, like when like I use like ChatGPT or whatever the tool is to like to write emails and stuff like that sometimes just to be like, these
Yeah.
are my thoughts. Can you just make it nicer? And it does do stuff like that that it's like not natural for me. Like I would never use that, so I remove that kind of thing. But it is helpful in coming up with words. But that's a good tip to know that like I like to make it sound like me and like my writing pattern, but yeah, that's a good point, so but you know what? I know that universities have some sort of tool
Yeah.
also because now like the plagiarism and like they're very big on like obviously not doing AI because like you're in school, you're supposed to be learning how to do this on your own. But they have something that also like they'll put your paper through it. And if it comes back as flagged for AI, then you failed for cheating. Which is crazy though, because sometimes you're not. It's not. It's just how you write. It's so weird to me. I don't know. This whole thing is just we got some kinks to work out here. It feels very unfinished. And it makes me nervous that they just roll this out and it's not even remotely close to being ready.
Yeah. No, it definitely isn't. I mean, now we're getting into like AI specific talk, but
Yeah.
it's how they talk about how it hallucinates and like if you ask it for advice, it'll just validate everything that you say. Like there are so many things that's why I love it for therapy.
Yeah,
Cuz it's like, yes, you're right about everything.
it's true. It's like what a
And
great
I'm like, I know.
it's like what a great idea. And you're like, I know, I'm
Yeah.
brilliant, right? Why doesn't everybody else see that? You're my only friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, totally. There's so many things that need to be fixed with that, but that's why, like, with the hiring process, it's so broken with AI, and I mean, they also use it for interviews too. I've had at least 3 interviews in the last like, the first interview, like, the screening interview where it used to be, like, the HR person just seeing that you're not crazy or that you at least know stuff.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes it's like an AI, and you
Really?
just yeah. Yeah, yeah, like, you join a meeting, and then an AI is asking you questions, you answer, it kind of interprets it, and then asks you, like, follow-ups based on that, or maybe they have, like, specific questions that they already have prepared. Someone supposedly looks at it afterwards, but yeah, they have the AI interviews and stuff. Like 47% of UK job seekers have said that they have had at least one AI interview, and like I said, I've had 3 in the last 6 months.
No way. That's crazy. I've actually never heard of this before. That's crazy. I'm assuming that a person does actually look at the
Yeah.
answers afterwards, obviously, because the thing with AI to me is like you should still have a person making the final decision. And I think it gets really dangerous for companies and agencies and whatever that don't that they just let the machine say, actually, this candidate didn't answer the questions correctly, and a person, a human being, never actually looks at what was said. I think that's just not smart on their part. And as a hiring manager, I would be like, absolutely not. That's not happening. But obviously, not everyone is going to go down that road. But wow, that's crazy. I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I'm
happening.
glad you told me though, because if I ever am looking for another job and that happened to me and I didn't know about it, I'd be like, what is this? I'm being scammed.
Yeah. The interesting thing is the first time I ever had one of these interviews without a person was actually way back in 2022, where I had to well, it wasn't AI, but I had to record my answers, and then someone looked at it later, like I didn't get to talk to someone.
Mm.
They sent me the questions and then they're like, "Record yourself answering this."
Boy,
So it's just such an impersonal process.
that's weird that you would record yourself. But why wouldn't you just type it back and send it to them in an email? It seems silly, but okay. To each their own, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it is so awkward. I mean, when I am reading about
Mhm.
this trend, people describe it as being like such an awkward experience. And it is because it's like you're talking to yourself.
Mhm.
Maybe I feel like I, I don't know, you just don't get that rapport from talking to a real person and that comfort, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I also feel like kind of moving away from the AI topic, 'cause I think we could talk about AI for a long time, but I also feel like a lot of interviews, when you actually get to go in person and talk to somebody, they ask you the most insane questions that are completely irrelevant to your job. I've had someone when I interview, like, I'll ask other people from, like, the group where the person's gonna end up working to come into the interview with me, and I've had actually somebody ask, "How many golf balls fit into a school bus?" And I just looked at them and I was like, "What are you doing? Why is that relevant? That is a stupid question." If someone asked me that, I'd be like, I 400, 600, I don't know, like, make up some number, 467,000. I don't know.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
Man, yeah, I was actually wondering. I was wondering about this too because I've seen so many of those questions. And because I've been learning more about how to navigate this stupid job market we're in, I know that, yeah, these questions are stupid. I agree. But then I was like, finding out that it's because they wanna see how you think. So it's like you can't give an answer right away. You have to be, like, asking questions like, "How many seats in the school bus?" So that gives you an idea of how big it is.
Mm,
And then you're like, "What's the volume of the school bus, and how big is this golf ball?" And then you have to walk them through your answer and stuff. But I'm like, "Why are we doing this to people? Can we just keep it to, like, the job description and, like, seeing if this person's a good cultural fit?" We're just doing all these insane things and so many different stages for the process too, even for entry level jobs, like, why do you need 5 plus different interviews with different people in the company? It's such a waste of time, effort, and sometimes money if you have to go in to the place, to the office to talk to people and take time off. It's just not feasible for a lot of people.
yeah. Honestly, I feel like if you ask somebody to come in for an interview, they should get paid. This might be an
Yeah.
unpopular opinion, but why not? That would make the company think twice, like, they're not just gonna make somebody come in for no reason, like, they actually want to interview you for a good reason, you know? Like, they actually see you as somebody that you really hire.
And sometimes they ask you to do free work, like the assessments and stuff. So
Mhm.
totally, I 100% agree with you on that one.
Yeah. I know that you have mentioned before that, like, sometimes there's different systems that you have to have experience with or something, because you're kind of more in the, like, the computer world, I should say. I don't really know how to say it, but, like, you are very much in the tech industry, so you have to know how to use a lot of different, how do you call them?
Yeah,
Yeah,
software.
thank you. I'm very much not
Yeah.
in that world. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's true. And one thing about that is I guess, connected to a different point I wanted to make is how these companies ask for very specific experience, like, they're looking for a unicorn, like, I want a designer who can code and can be a marketer and can be a product owner and can be CEO and everything. And then they're like, you need to know how to use this specific software and this one and this one and this one. But it's also like a lot of these things have similar bases. I don't know, like they are similarly structured. You can learn them even if you haven't used them before because you know how to use different software that does basically the same thing. And it's like no one is willing to train people anymore because if you have like the thinking, the critical thinking, the experience, wouldn't you think that a person could learn how to use your specific software instead of coming in knowing how to use it? I find that
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's
I don't know
unrealistic.
if that was the point you were trying to get to.
Yes, it's completely unrealistic, and we should be open to hiring people who have, like you said, the experience that can show you that they can learn a new system because most people can if you train them correctly. I feel like a big problem with companies is that they just don't take the time to train people and they don't want to because they're lazy. Because, yeah, training isn't fun. Like, nobody likes to do training, but you have to.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. And always try to help the people that are there continue upskilling, but that doesn't happen either. I mean, that's another thing, but you're totally right that even like with hiring, they're like, no, you need to have this very niche specific experience. Otherwise, we don't want you.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's impossible, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And like another thing that is really annoying is all the ghost jobs that are out there. I don't know if you've experienced this
Mm-mm.
while you search. No? Well, basically, like companies put up job postings that don't actually exist.
What? Why? What's the purpose?
Yeah. Well, there's lots of purposes. One is like showing that your company's actually doing well and that you're hiring. So it's like a facade. It's not true.
Mhm.
You're not actually hiring.
Mhm.
Or there's, like, legal requirements that you have to advertise a job even though you're gonna give it to some internal hire.
Oh, yeah.
So there's all these reasons, and then people actually apply to those jobs. I'm sure I've applied to ghost jobs because there's so many that I haven't even heard back from, which
Yeah.
is another thing, ghosting.
Yeah.
Like, you never even get feedback from any application or even with certain interviews, like, at that point, you should definitely give feedback if you have talked to a person, but no, that just doesn't happen
I
anymore.
know. You just never hear from them and you're like, "Okay, I guess I didn't get the job." Man, ugh, that's upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why agency or companies behave like that. It's so rude. I don't know. I get it. We're all busy, but have some common decency.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it someone's specific job to be hiring? Like, do your job
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, HR. We have a whole episode on why they suck. We should add this on there.
Yeah, definitely. We need to do
Yeah.
that because HR is the worst.
Yeah, they are. They are for so many reasons. Oh my gosh. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even, sometimes I get rejections from months ago. Or even didn't I tell you recently that I got something from, like, over a year ago, and I was like, "What is this?" I don't even remember what this was. Just like, what's the point of that at
Yeah.
all?
Yeah, I've clearly forgotten about you.
Yeah, like, I've moved on, so
Yeah. Ugh. The other thing is that so many jobbing away from remote or hybrid work. I feel like that's just we're going in the wrong direction, people. I don't know how many times to say this, but it's the wrong direction.
Yeah, we need to offer people more flexibility. I mean, our very first episode was all about this.
Yep.
We really hate RTO
Yep.
and think it's
It
stupid.
is so stupid. I just don't get it. I don't understand this want to be in the office or this need to be in the office. Like I do understand maybe making a new person have to come in like 4 days a week for the first month or two just while they're getting to learn, the systems and having to have training. It's easier to train people in person. Like you have to get to know your coworkers, etc. But after that, like, why not just make it fully remote or even like once or twice a week? No one is
Yeah.
no one needs to be in the office 100% of the time. Well, I shouldn't say no one. Like some jobs do require you to be in, like restaurants and stuff like that, but office jobs,
Yeah.
very unlikely that you absolutely have to be in the office 5 days a week. That's ridiculous.
No, it is ridiculous. But yeah, a bunch of the jobs that I see now are hybrid, but more towards 3, 4, 5 days. Actually, that's not hybrid, 5 days, but 3, 4 days in the office or fully on site now. We have definitely moved away from that. There's barely any remote jobs, but even still, with these terrible conditions, people are still applying because unemployment has gone way up. I know in the UK, it definitely has. I think there's like 2.5 unemployed people per job vacancy
Whoa.
currently.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. But also, I also saw that in the
Mhm.
US, like hiring is also at an all-time low
Mhm.
since the pandemic, I think, or at least maybe not all-time low, but it is still very low. Like companies are not hiring. Obviously, we've seen so many layoffs lately,
Yeah.
and it's really difficult for people to find a job. And like we said, even if you get through to starting the interview process, then it's like 5 plus stages. And for entry level jobs, they're like, we want 5 years of experience. Then I'm sorry, that's not an entry level job.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. Yeah,
Yeah,
the needing experience, but being entry level is beyond ridiculous.
absolutely. And also, like, the salaries are a joke. I mean, inflation
Yeah.
is has gone way up. I haven't lived in the US in a while, but every time I return, I'm like, "Oh my god, why is it so expensive?" I know that the salaries have gotten higher there, which is good, but in the UK, I feel like I still see jobs that are advertising the same salary, like from 6, 7 years ago when I first moved here, and I'm like, "People cannot live like this, especially not in London."
Yeah.
With the cost of living, how it's gone up, it's insane. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's a joke.
Yeah, it is. It's true. The salaries is where and that's the thing, like, companies take advantage of times like this when they know that people are desperate for a job, and that's when they do the lowest offers because they're like, "Well, we know people need a job, and we'll get somebody who will agree to this, and we'll save money that way." And that's really messed up too. It's like you're taking advantage of people. That's not okay.
It's not okay. It's absolutely ridiculous. And this is again going into a different topic, but it just annoys me so much that this is happening because we just want to quote unquote increase shareholder value. And it's like, aren't these people rich enough? We need to give people a decent life. People want to work. I don't know if people out there, I feel like a lot of boomers or something, I don't know, are
Boomers.
saying like people don't want to work. People don't have the ethic that they used to have. And it's like, we want to work. We actually do want to work. We just want a living wage and a job. Like there's no jobs. You're firing people just to get richer. I don't understand
Yeah.
this ridiculous. Yeah.
Also, the cost of living when boomers were at the height of their richness or whatever was so much less. Like, you only needed one person in the household working for not even that much money, and you could afford a house and have 3 kids and, like, nice cars and this and that, and, like, now, are you kidding me? There's no way. Like, I have kids. If we didn't both work, there's no way we could afford a house and have the kids, like, having a decent life and, like, be able to do stuff. There's no way. We couldn't do that, and we both have pretty
Mm-mm.
good jobs, and we have very much good educations. Like, we have higher than just college degrees, both of us, so And we still need to have 2 jobs to be able to afford just to live and not be living under a bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. No, I same. I feel that way too. I mean, I know it's that way, not
Mhm.
just a feeling. I can see it.
Yeah.
It's the reality that we live in
Yep.
these days.
Mhm. It's sad. So basically, to conclude this episode,
Yeah.
jobs suck. Companies who are
Yeah.
hiring suck.
Yes. And just this job market we're in, oh my goodness, it's gotta be one of the worst in a long, long time.
Yeah.
It feels hopeless to search for a new job.
Yeah.
It honestly does.
Yeah.
It's just you never get answers. People don't look at your CV, and people then are like, "Well, it's who you know." But should it be?
Mm.
This whole networking, because also I've been to a bunch of networking events and my friends do the same, and honestly, I don't think they're that helpful.
Mhm.
Honestly, I really don't think it's that helpful. This idea that it's like who you know, not what you know, is
Mhm.
ridiculous because then not the best people are getting put forth for a job, and it's not your fault if you don't know people in a certain industry or in certain companies, right? Like, that's not the point of employment. I don't know. It just feels so
Yeah,
hopeless.
so what was all this crap that you guys were feeding us about, "Oh, you need to get the degree so that you can get the job." Well, then what's the point if all I need to know is know people? Why am I wasting my time?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. But I guess, probably a lot of people who are in the job search, or even, like I said, people who have a job and they're like, "I wish I could find something else." Like, we're all in this boat together.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna finish the episode on such a low point, even though, yeah, it is all about how the job market sucks. But I guess, like, a few tips that I have learned from mentors as I'm navigating the job market, maybe people already do and already know, but you can measure your CV against, like, how well it fits a job description with things like JobScan. You can also
Mm.
check if your CV is ATS compliant with tools online. And I don't know about networking. Maybe there are like better events for it. I haven't seen that they're that helpful, but I guess some people find that
Yeah.
helpful. And then just like reaching out to people from your alumni networks or people that you know, even or people at companies that you wanna work for, like on LinkedIn, just messaging them to ask for advice, not for a job, otherwise they won't answer
Yeah.
you, but and following up with someone on LinkedIn, which is just super annoying. Honestly, it's such a time-consuming thing. Trying to find a job is like a full-time job, but I know that for some people it has worked, like, you put your CV through and then you reach out to someone in the company and you ask for their advice and maybe to get them to refer you, building those connections, things like that. I don't know. If any of you try this and it helps, let me know.
Yeah. I know, it's so tough. If you're out there looking for a job, hang in there. I mean, again, I also don't wanna end the episode and on a sad note. All you need is one yes. So just try to keep that in mind. Just apply to a ton of jobs. All you need is one yes. And I know it's a lot of work, but we see you and, you know, may the application tracking system have mercy on your soul is all I can say.
I thought you were gonna say, "May the odds be ever in your favor."
That too.
It feels like the Hunger Games out here,
It
huh?
is. Bring that movie back, it's so real. It's sad.
Oh, man, yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the WPS podcast. We said it so you didn't have to. We hope to see you next time. Please DM us with your stories too. Tell us about what's going on with you with this job market. If you have any advice to share with people, that'd be awesome. And any stories you have of like terrible experiences navigating the job hunt, we want to know.
Yeah, let us know. We look forward to hearing the stories.
Yeah. And remember to follow us at the WPS podcast. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And remember to post, comment, and let us know your stories. Thank you. See you next time.
Bye. See you next time.